Hello, Logan. Okay, so thank you for the new files. I just downloaded them now, and I'm gonna open these fellas up and see what we see. So the first thing, because I did look at the video files before opening the script, and if you recall in class, I said on a green screen, the one thing you want to avoid is shooting anyone with blonde hair. So I think it's really inspiring that you've taken on this challenge. So cool. That'll be fun. But yeah, we'll see. I think this is gonna be pretty good. So we got our script open here. Let's go ahead and toss these video files in. Okay. This goes in there. This goes in here. I'm gonna go ahead and turn this music down a little more. There we go. Okay. Alright, so let's put these up and see what we see. I am missing the sequence files from you, but that's a-okay. I'll just hook it up to the bottom of this here, chroma key here, and life will be good, so no worries. But in the future, make sure that you include all the files. Oh, that's noisy. Gross. I'll go through it step by step, but make sure to use a light touch with this noise, because it's just gonna make it look trashy otherwise. Alright. Let's do this. So we've got our... So the first thing I'm noticing with this, the green screen footage, is that it's a considerably lower resolution than your skate park footage, which is kind of opposite of what you want. Your background footage, of course, you do want to shoot on the format you're shooting at, but it's not crucial to shoot at a higher resolution. Now your green screen, you want to shoot at the highest possible resolution because you desperately need the pixel fidelity here. So that you can make a good pull. Like if I zoom in like this, I should still be able to make out his features. That's going to make it very difficult to get a nice crisp pull. You see when it's a little bit out of focus and when the resolution is low. So I think the three major points I went over when talking about how to set up a green screen and how to shoot on a green screen in class was: don't shoot someone with blonde hair on a green screen, make sure you shoot in high resolution, and make sure to get your focus. So this is going to be a bit of a challenge. I think it's still going to be fine because you have the luxury of shooting on this absolutely killer soundstage. This is nice. This is a really nice setup. So I think despite the disadvantages, this is going to turn out well. But I gotta say, like in the future, if you're shooting something on your own or you're doing something freelance, this is a recipe for disaster. So heads up. Okay, so taking a look at your first key here, it is, as anticipated, a little bit rough, but first keys often are. We roto that sucker. We've still got a bit of an edge, but at least you're able to isolate him, which is good. You've got a roto here, masking off the areas you don't want, which is also quite good. You missed a little bit here, but, you know, potato, potato. And then it looks like you're... What is this crop doing here? Okay, so you're trying to use the crop like a transform, which is asking for trouble, just because it's going to make things a little bit glitch-tastic. So I see what you're trying to do here, but when you're trying to move stuff around, just do that with a transform node. Your crop, you're going to use a bit differently. But you know what, we'll deal with that later. I'm just going to start over with this. So let me pop in a chroma key here. And we are going to key the color closest to him. Let's see, how many frames we got on this guy? Yeah, we've got some good stuff here. So we've got about 184 usable frames. So let's just get a swath here. Okay, so it's not picking up the stuff nearest him, so let's try that again. Okay. Yeah, the low resolution is making this a little bit difficult. Just gonna clamp this down a bit. We do want to lift this so we get all that detail in there. And clamp that down even more. And lift this up even more to get even more detail. Okay. So, we're not in a good place, but we're in a better place than we were before. So, just don't be afraid to really push that alpha, right? No worries with that. Then I'm going to go ahead and pre-mult this fella. Cool beans. Then I'll go ahead and use a roto, as you did quite well. Good job. To just crop out everything we don't need. So, yeah, let's just, there we go. Multiply. Awesome. Okay. So it looks like we're cutting off his foot a little bit here. So I'm gonna go back here and see how close, how low we can get this before we start cutting into the shape outside the screen. Oh no. Oh no. Okay, so this is crippling. Your green screen footage, if I'm not mistaken, let me just look at this. Oh no. Your green screen footage is moving, my man. You can't do that. You really can't. This is the one part you have to get rock solid, but okay. Okay, that's gonna make this considerably more complicated. Oh my god. Okay. I don't understand why the tripod is moving when it should be. It's a tripod. This is handheld. You can't shoot green screen footage handheld. You can't. I really don't know what to do with this. It's just going to be bobbling all over. I could probably track these points and stabilize the footage, but that is more time than I'm willing to put into this right now, to be perfectly honest. Okay, cool, awesome. Let's just deal with what we've got then. Okay. Alright, so this is the alpha we've got here. You know, I'm going to put the pre-mult after the roto so that we get all this stuff in. Blop! Okay, cool. There we are. Wonderful. Now we still have this this little line around him, so before we pre-mult, I'm just going to throw a little erode on here. It kind of looks like ass, so I'm going to dial it back down. Let's try. Alright, so let's bring it back to 1, I guess. And I'm going to dial down the mix on this, just to kind of try and fade it a little bit. Because I want to lose this white line, but I also don't want to go too far, you know? So 0.8. Cool. Now, one thing the erode does in Natron, which is just absolutely stunningly awful, is it messes with the colors as well, and I really don't like that. So, oh, I see what it's trying to do. Okay. Well, that's annoying. Let's just not use this erode. Yeah, we're not going to do that. I think that's not going to work for us. I wonder if Natron has a dilate node. Dilate? It does! Huzzah! 1,000 rejoicings. Alright, let's see if this gets us a better result here. So let's just... it looks very similar. It's pretty much doing the same thing, to be honest. But here's hoping we can control it a bit better. So we'll take this to -1, which of course is far too far. And then we'll just dial that up a bit. And I think we're losing a lot of the detail here in the hair, especially. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shuffle all of this in as an alpha, and then use the colors from this. So I'll just make myself a shuffle node. I'm going to set the A to this dilate, so the bottom of the stack, and I'll set the B to the original green screen plate. So I'll tell the shuffle we want the R, the G, and the B, so the colors, to come from B. So our B input is the plate, and that's where we want the colors, and I want the alpha to come from A. So now if we look at the bottom of this shuffle, we will see that the alpha is matching the part on the right. So now if I pre-multiply it, we should be in a better place. And we are. Granted, he's all green and jazz, we lost the D spill, but, you know, one step at a time. So before my pre-mult is where I can put that grading node. But you know what? If we were still getting good colors from here, yeah, so you know what I can do to fix this? I'm not going to worry about regrading it to get rid of the green. Instead, I'm just going to plug our RGB information into the chroma key, which has a D spill as part of it, and that is going to put us right back in the same place we were before. Yeah, no, so I'll do what I was doing before, and I'll just put a grade in here. I apologize for the videos being so long, but you must understand that at this point I'm kind of doing the project for you, so you're welcome. I'm just going to grade all the green out of this. So I'm only selecting the green channel on the right, and first thing I'm going to do is just see if I gamma up. You see it's all just green, so super nasty. Oh, that gives me an idea. Is there hue rotation? Maybe. Well, I don't know what that is. That looks scary. I'm deleting that. Let's see. Saturation. We'll just play with saturation. That's always a good time. Cool. Alright, so I'm going to set the saturation just to green. So if I dialed down just the green saturation, if for some reason it doesn't do anything, which is not the intended result. No, it makes it more green. Oh, I remember. The saturation is stupid. Okay, so if we just make it... Well, geez. That's not what we wanted at all. So theoretically, I should be just affecting the green here, but it's going to be really hard to get that off of him. Okay. Yeah, you're just keeping the, keeping this. You know what? We'll just keep it that. We'll just keep that too. So this is just what it's going to be. There's just not enough resolution to play with it. To be honest, it's yeah, it's just really it's like there's yeah, just not enough pixels to work with. Okay, just try clicking on a few things here. It's not really changing anything, is it? Nah. Okay, well, it is what it is. I'm gonna delete all that. Then we'll plug this into where you had that plugged in. Okay, and so yeah, you're right, it is super transparent. Let's see. We'll have to see why that is. Oh, okay. Alright. So there's no reason for it to be transparent, because we've got a full, full alpha here. Should be working well. That shouldn't change anything. This shouldn't change anything. I deleted your tracker because you don't need a tracker on this. And I feel like it's important to understand that the tracker is not the thing that is doing the moving. It generates the thing that is doing the moving. So, put better, the tracker doesn't move, right? The tracker measures movement. So if we're tracking this, it looks like you've got 2 points here, and wow, neither of your trackers are working at all. So I'm just gonna start over on that too. Okay, so I'm gonna just go through how to track again. There are also plenty of video tutorials on this online as well. So if this explanation is not helpful, then certainly look up something else as well, because it's very well documented. So in our tracker pane on the right, we're going to click the plus button, generate ourselves a point, and let's select like something like this that's high contrast, that's not going to leave frame. So we want to track this little guy over here. Cool. So we'll put the point on that. We're going to resize this sucker so it's right outside it. Lovely. And then on the top left, see these little play buttons with a blue dot in them? We're going to click on that. Oh, and it has lost the plot. So then you go frame by frame, right? Oh, it's good here, it's bad here. Move it up. And hit the button. Yes, damn. Now it has gone far off course here, so let's see what in the world it is doing. Well, this is most strange. It's just going off the rails here. Yes, dear. Yes, dear. She has thoughts. She has opinions. She's a very opinionated cat. That's right, dear. She doesn't know what she's talking about, but she thinks she does. Okay. So if I sound frustrated, I am very frustrated. These are all things that I have covered in class, and all of our class sessions are recorded and accessible. So it is a bit baffling to me that you would not rewatch a session in which I explained how to shoot on a green screen or how to use a tracker. You are a smart guy and you have a lot of talent, but you are not showing a lot of initiative. And the real, I don't know, I guess like, if you don't care about the class, that's fine. But I guess like you want to get into the animation industry or the film industry or the VFX industry, and as a student, you don't have a lot of friends. So it seems weird to me that there would be so little effort put in, at least perceivably from my end, when what you need right now are friends in the industry. Yeah, I don't know, dude. I just I'm at a loss here. I don't get it. And I realize that you are working with glitchy software, but you know, no matter where you are or what studio you're at, you have to learn new software, and you've gotta be able to roll with the punches, learn new pipelines, learn new workflows, please leads and supervisors and directors that you may not agree with the way they do things or their opinions or the way they approach stuff. These are fundamental skills, and I'm just not seeing the effort here. So if I do sound frustrated, like, there you go. That's why. You will be hard-pressed to find any other teachers who will be as real with you as I am with you guys. And maybe this is because I'm not a teacher. You know, I'm an artist who agreed to do this for a friend. But there you have it, you know? I am not saying this to smack you down or discourage you, but I am saying this to light a fire underneath you, because, to be perfectly honest, the rest of the class is not gonna get slower or easier. And I would really like to see you do well. And I'd really like to see you come out of the class with some nice pieces, and at least showing to me that you have an understanding of how node-based compositing software works. And I do not believe you have that understanding right now, as it stands. Obviously, things can change. And I fully expect you to prove me wrong, and to step up, and to completely rock my world with the next couple projects. So there's the bar. Okay, so we started off on frame 46, so I'm just going to click there and then track backwards. Okay. It kind of loses its track right here, so I'll pop that up. Yeah, it's really having trouble with these first couple frames here. Come on, friend. There it goes. See, all I needed was for me to say nice things to it. Okay, so normally you want to do, you know, more than one tracking point, but I've got many other things to do tonight, and I'm already tired. So I'm just going to do the 1 point. But yeah, no, if you want to get a good track, you'll choose a couple more points. So, you know, maybe find something nice over here. Maybe this little, ooh, yeah, this little dark piece of thing. Maybe like something super high contrast. So maybe this shadow right here would be a good place. There are plenty of options here. There's some nice stuff here. So no worries on that. So the next thing we do is we just want the translation information from this guy. So I'm going to go to transform. So up here, from tracking to transform. Motion type, match move. Transform type, transform. And I'm going to make sure I'm on frame 1, set to current frame. I'll hit compute, blop, cool. And then I'll hit the export button at the bottom. So it's going to make this special animated transform node for me. All I got to do is attach that to the green screen thing. And yeah, we're in business. So it's not going to be perfect right off the bat, but you'll see that he is kind of moving to match the environment, so that's kind of neat. The green screen footage is moving, so he's not going to track perfectly. You see he's kind of like floating and bopping around a bit. That's why I was so frustrated by that. We need the green screen to be in a solid place before we apply animation on top of it, right? We're stripping the camera animation from the plate, and we are applying that camera animation to the green screen element, which should be rock solid. So that is why I was a bit staunch about that point. So before this animated transform, we'll put another transform, and this is the one we're going to use to resize our subject and just get him, to blow him up to a size that makes sense, because the green screen element is such a lower resolution from the plate. Like, it doesn't look good because he has a low level of detail, where the plate has a nice, crisp, clean, high level of detail. So always shoot your subject at a higher resolution so you can shrink them down instead of blowing them up. Blowing things up always reduces reduces the amount of resolution you've got, and that's never something you want to happen. So we'll just put him back here. Yeah, we'll put this fella back here, because that looks like about the right size. And also, we're getting some stuff. I don't think the frame range is as long as the plate, so we got to figure out where he cuts off. Okay, he cuts off right here, 185. So 184 is our last usable frame. So I'm going to hit S, and then I'm going to change the last frame to 184. Hit Enter. Cool. So that is the last frame, yeah. And then on the viewport, I'll change that to 184 as well. So there we go. So we've just got this range. Cool. And I'm gonna... Cool. So keep in mind, you don't want the tracker to be part of your comp. You're just using this node to generate that. This doesn't need to be attached to anything but the plate, but we don't want to use this as part of what we see. So now if we scrub through, we see he is tracking pretty darn well with that area. It's working out, you know? So that's good. On the first frame, we want to mask out this area because he goes behind it. So I'm going to go ahead and throw down a roto. Just mask out this little area. It's not going to be like super detailed. It just needs to be a little bit of an area. Okay. Then I think we'll probably want to put the animated transform on this guy as well. So we'll copy that, copy and paste, Control-C, Control-V, so that this guy moves along with the plate, which is what we want. It's really hard to tell if that's actually working or not. Anyway, and then we want to mask, so we use this little mask. Oops, use this little mask line. Attach that to there. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so setting up this mask, I think we set this to multiply. No. Let's see. Let's just say mask. No. Matte. Oh, I see what I did. Okay. Ah ha 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 ha. Okay, so the problem was, for some reason, the roto was set. This is also another issue with working with multiple formats. It was set to the lower resolution of the green screen element instead of the high resolution of the plate, which is what we're trying to mask out. So I can fix this by just putting a reformat after this and changing the reformat to be our 1920 by 1080. Cool, righteous, awesome. Then I'll just move this back down to where I want it to be. Wow, why am I seeing all these things? Okay, yeah, just this guy, just you. For some reason it's showing the tracker information. I don't like that. Or maybe I'll plug the roto into the reformat as the background. Does that change anything? It does! Huzzah! And then I wonder, is it actually matched up? It might even be working. It is! Ha ha ha! Okay, yeah, so use a reformat as the background of the roto, just if you're working with multiple formats, to force it into that format. Cool. Awesome. Now I just have to figure out what to put the format, the roto as. So let's see. So we've got this. Oh, come on now. Okay, so we've got this guy, and he's transformed somewhere. Just disappears. I really hate the way Natron does almost everything. See, you're not the only one who's frustrated by it. It's so close to nuke. Like, it's just heartbreakingly close to nuke. It's just not there yet. It's not there yet. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to reformat your green screen element as well. And that's just going to throw everything off. But I'm going to do it anyway. We'll deal with this mask stuff later. Right now I'm just going to transform him small back into the area where we wanted him. Control-click, move the pivot point, scale down, move this guy over here. Cool. Now let's try masking with that. It's fine. Well, no, it's not fine. Okay, let's try something else. What if we used this after the reformat? Because these should be the same size. So it would be after this transform too. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. We've got this. We've got this, I guess. This will be, we'll just set this to mask. No, set this to, maybe. Yeah, we'll see. Oh no. Okay, so another thing that's causing a lot of problems is that one of the footages, that's not a word. One of the video clips you're using is 24 frames per second and another is 29.97. Don't do that. I'm not gonna get into it. Don't do that. Shoot on the same camera for everything. Preferably the high resolution one. But we did go over this in detail, as I've said before, and should probably stop saying. Okay. What happens if I multiply that? Nothing. What happens if I minus that? Nothing good. What happens if we change the color of this? Nothing. Okay. What happens if we from it? Nah. What happens if we... Nah. What happens if we... Nah. Maybe. Haha. Nah. Yeah, it's very trial and error right now. Max, min, minus maybe. See, multiply should be the thing that's doing the trick, but it's just not right now, which is a little bit frustrating. When you do stuff like this in Nuke, it just works. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. I think Winston's having trouble breathing. Okay. You know what? I'm gonna start this whole thing over. Okay, so we have this area we need to mask out, right? Because he can't do that. We need to mask that out so he's going behind it. So, what I should be doing is just putting a roto maybe right into the stack. So we'll try that. I think I was approaching it backwards. I was attempting, for some reason, you can do this in Nuke, obviously. You can't do it in Natron. But I was selecting this bit. I think I should select everything but that bit. So we're going to see how that works. So I'm going to start off selecting that same edge. So we've got this same edge. But instead of selecting down here, I'm just going to go up and over. See if that works. Set this to multiply. Okay, yeah, so put it directly in the stack. I swear, man, VFX is like 90% troubleshooting. Okay, cool. So we got that solved. If you're going to regrade him, maybe make him a bit more neutral, and yeah, we haven't even gotten into color grading because you also need to get him to look to match the plate in terms of darkness, lightness. So before our pre-mult is when we need to do this. So let's look at the darkest point of the screen near him. This bar gets pretty dark, but I think, you know, his blacks are so inky that he's far darker than this bar. So I think since he's closer to us than that bar, we should make him a bit lighter. Also, you know, the side of him is not dissimilar from the side of this concrete, so this should actually be relatively light. So let's go ahead and just bring the black point up a bit. Oh, sorry. Bring the black up a bit. Well, why is that affecting that? That's annoying. Should just be the RGB information. No, whatever. Okay, so we pop that up a little bit. That's helping. And we'll make him a little bit brighter as well. Multiply this up a little bit. Offset this a little bit. Gamma him up a little bit. Okay, so we've got... Actually, I think he's a little hot, so let's take the whites down a little. That's sitting in there decently. The colors are a bit much, but I don't think they're wrong. So instead of grading the colors, I'm just going to put a saturation node on here. Take this down a little bit. 0.75. That's too far. 0.8. 0.9. It's not far enough. 0.85. I think that's a bit better. So if we turn our grading on and off, now he's just kind of sitting in there a little better. I still think there's a lot of work I could do on his grade, but I'm just gonna let it sit for now. And let's just worry about rendering this guy out, right? That's another struggle. So at the end of all this, we've got a bit of a bounding box going on, which means this is pixel information that's occurring off the screen. It is, you know, it does exist, so it's having to calculate it. We may not see it, but it's having to calculate it. So the first thing I'll do is throw a crop on the bottom of everything. Now this crop is, once again, defaulting to the incorrect thingy thing. So I'm going to change it to a format crop. Well, first I'm going to bring this back up to where it's supposed to be. So, yeah, 1920 by 1080. Size 1920 by 1080. Okay, so I brought it back up to where it's supposed to be. I'm going to change extent to format. I'm going to change the format to 1920 by 1080. I'm going to click this reformat button on. And then, just to be double super sure, I'm going to put a reformat node at the bottom of this fella. Change the format to 1920 by 1080. Cool. So now we have double checked. And fingers crossed it actually works, because this is always a gamble and a prayer. So I'll throw a write node down here. I'm just going to link that to the temporary folder I have made on my desktop. I'm going to call this. I'm going to even try an MP4. That's right. We're going to try an MP4. What? I don't know. I just said what twice, so I feel like I'm pretty cool now. Version 1.mp4. Enter. Awesome. Make sure that's connected. I'm going to change the codec to, bless you, to, well, I guess it was on the right one to begin with, so meh. I'm just going to leave the codec where it was. Never mind. Yeah, cool. And the frames per second might end up screwing us over, but can't do anything about that. I'm just going to hit render, just because we've got different frame rates going. Seems to render suspiciously fast. Let's see if that actually worked. Okay, let's try opening that with VLC. Oh no, we're getting that thing again. Oh, this is annoying. Alright, so last time I was able to fix that by doing the thing I already did. So if I already did that, how am I gonna... I'll just click all these on. I'll just click on intersect and black outside on the crop. I'll press S, make sure, yes, it is set to 1920 by 1080. Fantastic. All right. Change the input premult to opaque. Oh, maybe this has something to do with it. So, a difficulty with your plate is that it's got no alpha, right? So we'll just give it an alpha. We'll give it a flood alpha. So I'm just going to put a shuffle node on this guy, and I'll attach both the A and the B to the plate, and we will flood the alpha. Okay, so now I got to figure out how to do this. Let's say opaque. Yeah, okay, so set the output premult to opaque. Wonderful. And there we've got a flooded alpha. If we look at everything at the bottom, from the bottom down, flooded alpha, that might help. We'll see. Hopefully that does the trick. Okay. And it's rendering. Once again, took a ridiculously fast amount of time, so I'm innately suspicious of it. Let's see what VLC has to say for itself. Ugh, same problem. Alright. That's so annoying. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, let's just change the container. Let's make it a quick time, just for laughs. And we'll make the codec, we'll make it PNG codec. See if that changes anything. Probably won't, but you know. Wow, that was fast. Yeah, there's no way that worked. There's no way that worked. It also saved it as an... I'm going to delete this again. Oh, because it says it's an MP4 up here. I need to change this as well. MOV. Okay, let's try that again. Okay. So that is an MOV, theoretically. Okay, let's try it in VLC. Nope, same issue. Okay, so we've determined it's not a codec issue. I don't know. I'm just gonna... I turned clamp and black outside on. On the reformat. Let's see if that does anything. Oh my god. Alright, let's just let's just delete those. Let's just see what happens if we render it straight from the bottom without the crop or the reformat on it. Yep, now I've done it. Yeah, clicked the wrong one. That's what it was. Nope, that's not going to fix it. Let's just try rendering a single image. What about... we will call this %d, so Logan underscore %d dot png. And that %d, as I've said before, will just name the file after the number of the frame. So if it's frame 1, it'll be Logan underscore 1. So we'll see how that goes. And that's rendering. Okay, same problem. Okay, I know I'm coming back to this again and again, but you really can't be using multiple formats and frame rates in the same project. It just creates all kinds of issues. Like, it shouldn't be, right? It shouldn't be creating issues. We have our format set. Shouldn't be doing this to us, but it is. So we have to come to terms with that. Fixed format, 1920 by 1080. I don't think that's going to change it, but let's see. Oh my gosh, it changed it. Oh my gosh, it fixed it. Bow, 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 bow. Okay, so what I did was, and this is stupid, but alright, is in your right node, I changed format type from project format to fixed format and changed that format to 1920 by 1080. Because, you know, that's specified multiple times throughout the course of this entire script file that is 1920 by 1080, but for some reason Natron decided to ignore that until this point. I don't know. It defies explanation. I blame no one but popular culture. So there we are. We've got that. Let me just throw this in a folder to be a bit cleaner about this whole thing. And Photoshop hotkeys don't work in Windows Explorer. Let me do that the old-fashioned way. There we go. We'll just call this frames. And just as previously, I do not trust Natron as far as I can throw it, and as it is an intangible object, I cannot throw it, therefore I do not trust it. I'm going to open up Premiere, load in those frames, and just bake out a nice little MP4 for ourselves. But I'm actually not going to do that. You know how to do that. I did that on the last video. I expect great things from you. Please put in the time, put in the effort. See you in class. Not this Thursday, the Thursday after that. Adios.